It's the Three Pundits back here on Saturday afternoon right from the Levante beach, and the good news is, guys, that after Thursday's offside show, we're still here and we haven't been sacked.
Yeah, it was a bit close to, going at time, wasn't it?
You were.
What, me?
Yeah, you.
I was the only one that didn't have a drink, wasn't I?
Yeah, but you were the worst. You were vulgar.
No, I think I'm just passionate, that's about it.
Yeah, about Theresa May.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but listen, great. Never mind the fact we haven't got the Premier League today. We have got so much to talk about, and of course, it's what we call Merson Weekend.
Yes.
Merson Weekend.
Yes.
That man is in town. He flies in. I've had it in good authority. Tomorrow, he's going to be so happy that he's going to meet the Tottenham Rabbi.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's going to be a fantastic night tomorrow in the Marina
Is
Hotel.
that the rabbi from the Union Jew?
It'll be a fantastic night tomorrow in the Marina
Is
Hotel.
that the rabbi from the Union Jew? Union
Jew.
Jack.
I know you got right the first time.
Yeah.
But, but we've got. Listen, guys, I have to say it.
Yes.
Scotty knows best.
Hang on,
Scotty mentioned at the beginning of the season how good this UEFA Nations League would be. And this week, lads, week, you have to admit, it has been stupendous.
Has it?
No.
The relegation battles, promotion battles.
Battle.
Listen.
How many games have you watched, Duncan?
0. Not a single game.
Well, listen, I guarantee that a decent pundit, like somebody like Paul Merson, he'll have watched most of the games this week. Scotty's watched most of the games this week. You lads really have to ask yourself the question, how serious do you want to be at being a pundit?
Well, look, put it this way.
Not very.
Merson, that's his job to do it.
Yes.
You sit on your backside doing no
Yes.
Me and Duncan has to go to work.
Yeah, we work for a living.
We work for a living.
Yes.
You don't class heating up a steak pie as work, do you, Frank Pig? And he just sits in front of a computer all day and watches Liverpool games. So don't give me this.
Mate, serious business.
I work hard for a living, malarkey. The UEFA Nations League this week has lit the torch. It's lit. It's literally. It's fireworks.
Well, I'm going to let you try and sell it to me during the course of this show.
Right. Listen, that Croatia game on Thursday evening, after the show, I went back. I caught the second half of Croatia-Spain. Lads, it's the best game of football I've seen for 5 years.
Really?
It was tremendous. The stadium was full. The Croatian supporters really thought they could get one over on the Spanish. Croatia scored first. Within 6 minutes, Spain had equalised. Then Croatia went into the lead again. Then Spain got another goal, and it looked so very, very good. And I thought this game's heading up for a draw. 94 minutes in, I think it was Modric whipped a cross in, and the Croatian centre forward put it in to get them victory, which sets the group up incredibly well. And don't forget, lads, this is England's group. This is England's group. Now, if England win tomorrow, they are then top of the group, and they get promoted.
Just stop now, right? Because this thing, you need a degree to work it all out, right? So that's
it's very easy.
Well,
it's very easy. If you're a proper pundit and you've done your research.
Over me again. You know he's notorious for this, don't you? I can't get a word in me. You know what it's like, do you?
It's that chair.
Yeah, I know
you
it is.
You
Yeah, it's that
last
chair.
week when you sat in that chair.
It takes over, doesn't it? Right. So this group then, Scotty. UEFA Nations League Group A4, is that right? It's not even got a number with it. It's that.
A4.
It's that complicated.
It's got a piece of paper. That's why.
Right. Spain, England, Croatia. What happens? Who goes? Does it just number one top team go through? The second? Does a third drop?
The top team go through the official Group A. Okay.
I've lost. That's it. I've lost interest straight away.
There's a team gets relegated to the next division. Okay.
What's the point of that?
And there's a team goes out now. Then that gives groups A, B, C, D, E, and F, proper groups, okay? Now, this is the important thing. In a few months' time, I don't know exactly when, but once all of these groups, there's proper groups, and they play each other, and then it goes.
Do we have a knockout?
It goes through to a final, a semi-final,
and a final. Like quarter-final, semi-final, and all that.
Yeah, but what's more important is that the winners of each group then automatically qualify for the knockout stage of Euro 2020. Now, what this in theory means, and this is why this is so important. This is why Nations League is so important. What that then means is a team like Scotland or Ireland or Wales, who traditionally haven't had a great run over the last 20 years in qualifying for the big competitions, if they was to happen to win the UEFA Nations League group, they would be guaranteed
How are they
a
doing?
playoff place. Scotland, if Scotland beat Albania today and beat Israel, they will top the group. Okay, and they will
so
go
we've got
through
Wales
to
and
the
Republic of Ireland in Group
Yeah.
B4. Yeah,
Okay.
so they're in there. Scotland's there with Israel and Albania.
but Scotland have Israel to play now.
Yeah.
If Israel have played one game more than Scotland, so if Scotland beat Albania, and God forbid they've got to beat Albania. I mean, Albania is one of the worst teams in the world, really.
Like the Newcastle of international football.
No, the Sunderland of. The Sunderland of. So if they beat Albania tonight, then Israel and Scotland have the last game where they play each other, and whoever wins that tops the group and goes into proper Group C. Okay?
Steve's still awake, Steve.
Because this Group C, look, if you scroll up, this Group C one. It's not hard, lads. And it is your job. Come on.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like
So you've got
international
C1,
football,
C2, and C3, and the winners of each
And
group
C4.
go and C4, and the winners of each group go into a proper group. Okay,
Yeah, but
and if
it's
they win that group, they qualify for
You're
the
right
playoffs.
into it, aren't you?
No, I'm
You're
not
right
right
into
into it, but I just think, and we've argued this point before, lads. I think it's better than meaningless friendlies.
but the thing, what they do though, is they throw a meaningless friendly alongside one of these games.
Well,
don't
that's
they?
where it falls down. That USA game for England
Well,
the
that's
other
what
night
I mean.
was a nonsense.
So I put that on the
It
other
was the
night.
Wayne Rooney show.
It was boring.
You know?
Do you know what
It
I
was
mean?
nonsense. I mean, it shouldn't have been played. These groups getting to this stage now, people are starting to get interested. Now,
Whoa.
apart from you
Steve,
two, like.
Steve, would you think we should maybe give it a go next time out? Like maybe have a look tonight or whenever it is. What do you reckon? Has he sold it to you?
Not yet, no.
Well, after this week's games, lads, then you go into the groups proper. Then it's real important.
Well, when
I
you
mean,
say
we're
groups
talking
proper, what's happening then? So all these B4s, B3s and all that go, and it becomes single, like...
just Group
A,
B,
B
Group
and
C,
yeah?
Group D. And the winners, once those groups are decided,
Yeah.
the winners of those groups go to the playoffs. So the
there's
guaranteed
gonna be
playoff
like-
place.
Yeah,
It's important.
You have the winners of four groups, then go into another group.
Exactly.
So
Right,
Are you with
okay.
it now?
Yes, I've got it, yeah.
every winner of group B1, B2, B3,
Right,
B4,
got it.
winners of them four groups,
Got
then
it.
go into
Got it.
Group B.
Got it.
And the winners of those legitimate groups qualify for the playoffs of the Euro
But you're
20s.
still at
It
the end
then
of it.
becomes important.
You're still at the end of it only watching England, though, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? You know-
What do you mean? You don't watch you just said you didn't watch the games.
No, I mean what I mean is it's like they don't exactly they don't set the world on fire, do they? It's a bit like boring. Do you not think international football?
Well, if you watched that Croatia-Spain
Yeah,
game
but that wasn't
the other
England.
night,
That's my point.
it was passion. The stadium was full
You had
in
an interest in
Croatia.
that as well because it was Spain,
brilliant.
obviously.
Yeah, and I mean Spain. Oh God, they're going to get relegated into one of the groups. You know, it's,
Well, Germany's already been relegated. haven't they?
no, they
Yeah.
potentially
No.
can be relegated.
Oh,
They've
there's
been
a fight
relegated.
here, there's a
Yes,
fight
it
here.
said relegated. They
Where-
said-
Where's
it said
Germany?
that,
Let's
yeah.
have a look at Germany. Come on.
They've gone. They were
There
relegated.
they are.
Oh yeah, last in the group they've gone.
They've gone.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So they're still not.
They're relegated.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yep.
Good night, Vienna. So what happens to them then?
They go down into Group B.
And what
proper.
happens then?
Well, everybody
group-
plays everybody.
And does this continue like next season, if you like, next year
Yes.
or whatever?
Yeah.
So you start off
next
where you
year,
finish.
Yeah.
Sort of.
No, you start off on the level playing
Oh, it
field.
starts again.
Every time they start again, you've forgotten what's going on anyway.
Listen, lads, I suggest you get a handle on the situation
Yeah, well,
here.
I might
You
have
call
a look
yourself
later.
one of the 3Pundits.
Hang on then, so what's happening tonight before you start pressing your buttons? What's happening tonight is the...
Scotland play Albania tonight. England play
Play
tomorrow.
Croatia tomorrow.
And then, listen, and I have to tell you this, lads.
Yeah.
I mean, I've listened to a couple of podcasts when I've been walking around the river with the dogs this morning.
So
very
Tony
sick.
did know.
There's
Yeah.
now a real interest in this competition in England.
I'm not
There's
sure.
a real interest in
I
it.
don't believe you.
Yeah, absolutely right.
I don't know where you get your information from.
No,
but
a
I
real
don't believe
interest.
you.
Listen, guys, we've got to move on, and we're going to talk more about the UEFA, this wonderful UEFA Nations League competition. We're going to talk more about it a little bit later on. We're also going to be talking about Wayne Rooney getting that little you know,
I've got stacks of
bits
stuff
and
now I wanna
pieces
talk
and all
about.
that. Speak, Flying Pig.
Yeah.
Speak.
Yeah.
Speak.
You haven't
Like a
brought-
dog.
Shut up. You haven't brought up who won predictions last week.
Oh yeah, we'll do that
We'll
next.
do that later. And,
You know I wants to do it later, don't you?
Because he's bottom again.
Kiss he
no,
last again.
I was
didn't
second. You were bottom, Big Dunk.
Was
Flying
that?
Pig won.
That's not.
Yeah,
That's not normal.
Flying Pig.
Am I still
strolled it.
leading?
Strolled it, yeah, just by
he?
10
Stroll
points.
it, stroll it.
35-25-5, I believe. But listen, we'll talk about there's no predictions this week, obviously, unless you want to do some National League
No,
games.
you're all right.
no, it's all right,
Just
no.
put some music.
But we
on.
have to, I'm going to put some music on, but listen, just to tell listeners what's coming up. We've got that infamous referee during a women's game forgot his coin, and he decided to start the kick-off with rock, scissors, stones.
Great, I thought that
or
was great.
something,
I thought it
or
was
rock,
mint.
scissors, paper, or whatever. A big debating point there. We've also got the incredible debating point of Scudamore, who has left the FA, and he has been, well, he hasn't asked for it, in fairness to him. We'll talk about that as well. Billy Buck, or whatever he's called, has suggested that he gets a £5 million golden goodbye, and every team in the Premiership contributes 250 grand towards it. I mean, there's scandals on, absolute scandals. So we're going to talk about that, Big Dunk, yeah?
And I want to talk about European Super League and also the other developments from that Premier League shareholders meeting this week.
Okay, that's great. Then what we're going to do, we've got lots and lots of things to go through. And as I say, we'll come back with all this wonderful information. You're listening to Radio 1, the 3 Pundits, live from the Levante Beach. We'll be back very, very shortly.
Can you just mute that one? Is there a switch on it somewhere?
Yeah, there is.
Now what do you do with that?
Mute microphone. you live on that one, yeah? Up we get, Steve.
Right, quiet.
Nothing holding me back. Shawn Mendes, great track from Radio 1 Benidorm here from
Where's
the
Doug gone?
Levante Beach.
Where's
Hey,
Doug?
I'm here,
Oh,
I'm
he's
here,
here.
I'm here, I'm
Oh, it's
here.
there he is.
He had his head between his legs.
Hello.
Live on 3Pundits YouTube channel, live on 3Pundits Facebook channel, live on the Flying Pig's personal channel. Because he's got so many fans. Absolutely. But listen, let's get back to that wonderful competition that is the UEFA Nations League.
You're selling it to me slowly.
Another great game last night. And I have to go on about the atmosphere and everything in the stadium. And that was the Netherlands beating France, beating the World Cup winners 2-0. That game, I watched that game as well last night, lads. It was phenomenal. It was better than any meaningless friendly, and I always advocated that the home nations. I used to love the home nations competition. There was passion. There was full stadiums. There was meaty tackles flying in, and there was something to play for. This UEFA Nations League has brought that back. You cannot argue with it, lads.
So you keep saying. I'll give it a go. Look, I'll give it a go, right? I'll give it a go. Right, did you say who's playing on Sunday? Didn't you say tomorrow?
England.
Does that clash with the Paul Merson gig?
No,
it's early afternoon.
2 o'clock here.
Yeah.
Right.
This is going to
2
be
o'clock-ish.
So we can endure it then. I mean, enjoy it. Then before.
Yes. In fact, I think Paul Merson's going for a pint to the Union Jack bar, and he's going to watch it and then have one of those steak pies.
Is that right?
Yeah, he likes his steak pies, this Paul Merson. Know him very well. But yeah, so is another, really lads, another great game tomorrow. And the English nation are actually, because of the results, Spain's lost the last 2 games, okay? Lost to England, lost to Croatia the other night.
Okay.
The English nation, as a collective, whereas a month ago they had your doom and gloom attitude, Flying Pig and Big Dunk, they're now thinking, hey, this is going to be a good game tomorrow.
Well, hang on, realistic attitude.
This is going to be a good game tomorrow. If England beat Croatia, the top of the group, they've beat Croatia.
But hang on a minute,
Spain.
it's still meaningless, even if you win.
It's not meaningless.
Well, you should be qualifying for the tournament, the Euros anyway.
Ultimately, the winners of this UEFA Nations League will qualify for the Euros.
Would you rather be watching Premier League football tomorrow, or would you rather be watching international football?
So there'll be no qualifying rounds now for you.
The winners of the competition go through automatically.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So they don't have to qualify. Okay.
So this is wrapped up before the qualifiers start.
You were saying the winner of each group go through automatically.
The winner of each group go through into the
finals of
playoffs.
this competition.
Into the playoffs for the Euros.
Really?
Yes. There's 4 places that go to the playoffs for the Euros.
You're gonna have to start paying
Okay.
attention.
So yeah, I think you have. And listen, I'm not often I agree with those corrupt crooks at FIFA, but for once they've brought a half decent competition to the table.
You never answered my question. Premier League football this weekend, would you rather be watching that or international?
Well, that's a stupid question because I'm from Newcastle and there's only one team in my life. Well, there's 2. There's Newcastle United.
You talk more about Sunderland than you do anybody else.
Newcastle United reserves, 3rd team Newcastle.
But answer the question: would you rather be watching these super wonderful games?
5th team Newcastle boys.
Would you rather be watching these international games, fixtures that you're telling us are amazing, or would you rather be watching Premier League this week?
Premier League all day. You know that, Dunk. That's a stupid question.
Not stupid
okay, but what I'm saying is, from the last since the home internationals capitulated and back in the 80s, I think, wherever it was.
He's right.
For once, I'm watch. Apart from that, we love the World Cup, we love the Euros, but for once, I'm actually watching European games. You can call them friendlies if you want. But there's actually some passion.
With the exception of that Spain game, then that you're saying was fantastic, right? The other games, would you say there is a difference in these games than when they are with the friendlies that they're slotting alongside? Is there a different feel to it, or is it still like a training match? Is it still boring?
No. The first round, I didn't really see any of it, but they seem to be getting stuck in now.
So it is like watching competitive
yes,
football.
but
Yeah.
last night when Wales played, it was a bit feisty. Was that game, wasn't it, Scotty?
Well, yeah, I watched that game as well. Now, Flying Pig, I hate agreeing with you, but you've took the words out of my mouth. To agree with you as well, Dunk, those initial games were very much approached like a friendly.
Right.
But now they've panned out that there's qualifications
Really, yeah.
and promotions and relegations.
Right, you've sold it to
They're
me.
now really feisty games. That game, like, I watched the highlights of that this morning, Gibraltar 2, Armenia 6.
Yeah,
Now listen, two shit teams, two bad teams, okay, I agree that. But, what, and again,
Bad word, Ben.
Yeah.
He's
did I?
passionate,
Oh
isn't he?
dear. But what you are now seeing, for 50 years, Gibraltar have been thrown in with the likes of Netherlands and France and Slovakia and Denmark.
All right. You've sold it to me. What
No,
you still
I
going
haven't
on
finished
for?
yet. Now, at last, all these poop teams are in a group that are allowing them to actually go out there and realistically win a game. Gibraltar won their first competitive game 3 weeks ago. Incredible stuff, as did Andorra. Now, they do say that these football federations now of Gibraltar, San Marino, Andorra, Liechtenstein, Malta, they're actually now going to start and put money into their federations because they've actually seen their teams win an odd game.
Gibraltar run too.
Yeah, and Liechtenstein has won a game. Now, in my lifetime, I can't ever remember Liechtenstein winning a game, but they've
Why
won a
would you
game.
want to even remember that?
Well, that's what I say. I can't remember it, you know. But these federations, what they're saying now, are now looking ahead to the future and saying, well, if this UEFA Nations League takes off, and I really hope it does, then, you know, there's actually something to play for. Yeah, we're not going to qualify for the Euros. We're not going to qualify for the World Cup. But at last, like teams like Slovenia, they have, and Estonia, that have something
Right.
to play for,
Come on,
you
just
know?
move on then. Move
Have
on.
something to play for.
And teams like Scotland as well.
Yeah.
Teams
in
like
England-
Scotland.
in England.
No, England's doing very well at the minute, or so the press keep telling us.
Last week's predictions,
Do we have to?
results, yes.
Okay, results.
Come on.
Flying Pig, still, you'll be glad to hear, Big Dunk, nowhere near your outstanding two 27-point totals. Flying Pig on 21 points.
So I'm on 27, he's on 21.
No.
No.
That's on a weekly basis.
All right, got you.
He doesn't even. He
not-
cannot even get a hold of the prediction scores. How do you
Because you
expect
change it every
him
week.
to understand the UEFA Nations League, Flying Pig?
Because it's about the level of importance in my life.
Right. Well, you're top of the group. If that makes you feel happy.
Now that if you'd have asked
Got
me that,
35 points.
that's all I need
I've
to know.
got 25.
Right.
Do you want to know how many he's
How
got?
many has he got?
5.
And he's sat in the big chair with the fancy microphone.
And that's only because he drew one round.
Yeah.
Because you get 10 for a win and 5 for a draw.
Look at him, bless him. Oh dear. Go on, you can carry on
keep-
talking, motor mouth.
He keeps playing that reverse psychology and it keeps reversing on him.
Yeah, ganging up the two scouts. That's ganging up on the Geordie, as is every week, every single
Right,
week.
so okay then. So we'll be back with that next week, I guess, with the predictions.
Well, will indeed. It's 23 minutes to 3. I think we've just about wrapped the UEFA Nations
Yes, I
League.
Yeah,
think
we've
we've
had
done
enough
that
of
to
that.
death. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
done that. Well, I'm going to give it a go, just for you, right?
Come on in.
England, Croatia tomorrow, don't forget.
I'll watch it. Yeah, I'll watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, big game.
I can't, I'm at work.
Massive game. And you're at work and I'm coming up to see you, mate. I'm bringing some people for Sunday dinner up to that Molly Hotel. And they are one of our sponsors, so I am allowed to mention them.
Okay.
A great place, the Molly Hotel, up there at the top of Old Alfas.
Are you paying for it as well?
Well,
No,
Flying Pig
yeah,
paid for it.
I'm having a laugh.
Him?
That's the only reason he's coming, because somebody else is paying.
Yeah, because he knows you're there and he might get an extra piece of beef on his plate. That's why he's coming.
I don't need an extra piece of beef, lads. Don't you worry about that. Okay, well, we'll take a wee bit of music and come back with the Scudamore talking
Yes,
point.
the Premier League
what's that-
shareholders meeting. Yes.
What was that all about, Big Doug? Just give a little intro to it, and then we'll take some music.
Well, we've
and come
got
back.
they had the Premier League shareholders meeting this week. You know, when they all get together and that they discussed the quotas of homegrown players to do with Brexit. They discussed video assistant referees again. They discussed the summer transfer window, and of course there was this approval of this £5 million leaving gift to Scudamore. So yeah, we'll be discussing that.
We're going to be taking
Yes.
taking a big stance
And I
on
think
that.
we might get a little bit passionate in that one.
I think we just might. We're going to take a little bit Iggy Pop and a couple of little bit bumps, and then we'll be right back to Three Pundits live from the Levante Beach. Go live there. 4 seconds, Steve. Radio 1 Benidorm, indeed. It's automated, but it's never came in after the bump. Unless you've got to do it 4 or 5 seconds before or
Maybe
something.
too late.
Too late,
baby.
We're going to come in after the
after
radio,
that.
after the Radio 1 and Benidorm Saturday Sports Show thing. Can you just stop this one? How do you stop it and not
Yeah.
post?
You can't pause it.
You just untick the 2 boxes and then it'll not go live on your thing. Untick them both.
Now what?
No, I've got to press it back. Hang on, who's that come in there?
You're leaving the radio, the 3Pundits bump thing in.
Yeah. Wonder why that didn't, because I clicked it in time.
Have you highlighted the next thing?
No.
On Radio 1's page.
You just need to go live there, Dunk.
Yeah.
How long? How long?
12 seconds. Lupe Fantastico something or other. Fiasco Superstar, actually, lads. Not a bad little track. Haven't a clue who he is, mind. Listen, more important things than tunes on a Saturday afternoon live on Benidorm. Radio 1, the #1 radio station, not just in Benidorm, in the whole of Spain. I think we can say that. Great music and even better pundits. Now, listen, this is the biggest talking point of the week, Flying Pig, Big Dunk. The Premier League has defied the outrage of football's grassroots and at least 3 top-flight clubs who aren't very happy by signing off a $5 million golden goodbye for executive chairman Richard Scudamore. The Chelsea chairman Bruce Buck, or Billy as we like to call him, Billy Buck, who led the recruitment process to replace Scudamore, bulldozed an opposition by getting a lavish send-off, rubber stamped, listen to these 3 words, lads, without a vote, during a meeting of the top 20 flight chiefs.
Can't believe that.
It's incredible. The league then claimed the paycheck was justified as it would be spread over the next 3 years and was a fitting way to reward the man following 19 years at the helm. What's even worse, Scudamore 59 will receive the money from central funds rather than a previously proposed 250
Well, that's
grand
rubbish,
from
isn't it?
each
Because
club.
each club's still got to meet that central
Exactly,
fund sum.
exactly.
That's just a word in that play of words.
But each team remain effectively responsible for footing the bill.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
at
yeah.
least 3 clubs are understood fiercely to oppose the controversial payoff, and I bet one of them is Mike Ashley because he
I know.
doesn't like parting with his
I
money.
believe the 3 clubs. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Really, I didn't know that.
And Liverpool.
And Liverpool, I believe.
Fantastic.
But
Rumoured.
isn't this Billy Booker, whatever he's called, a good mate of Scudamore's?
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Can I just say about Newcastle there, it said that their reservations are believed to have been born out of their commitment to causes such as the NUFC Food Bank, which is the club's own foundation. And they also believe that a donation to grassroots football may have been more appropriate. And obviously Liverpool, I can't speak a lot about Everton, but I'm sure it's the same. But Liverpool do absolutely loads in the community for food banks and people that are really needing help. So you can understand why.
Yeah.
We know that football, we know there's a lot of money in football, billions, millions, whatever. And we think that the very, distance from reality and that, which the Chelsea chairman obviously is. But you wouldn't be surprised if someone said Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle were the 3 clubs, because they're the type of clubs you would expect to be really thinking about the community and actively trying to support people.
One senior footballing figure, and we'll give Scudamore a little bit break on this, speaking on condition of anonymity, subsequently branded the deal as a depressing indictment of our modern game. Richard, however, is a sensible bloke. I only hope he does the right thing and donates this money to worthy causes. Is that likely to happen, lads?
No,
No.
I don't think so. It said that he was embarrassed. There was reports, incredible, media sources, if you like, publications, saying that he was embarrassed about it all, but he still took it. He hasn't spoken up, has he?
How long's he been there? It's about 19 years.
19 years,
And
yeah.
how much has he earned, Dunk? Is it about
26 million, I think. I'm trying
26
to. I've
million.
got it wrote down here somewhere.
Absolutely.
And he earns 2.5 million a year, including his bonuses. His basic salary is 900,000, and as far as I'm concerned, his 2.5 million a year that he's been receiving up to, that's his salary, yeah? That's what he's paid to do. He's paid to achieve that success with the league. So why should he be getting 5 million?
Yeah,
He's a
exactly.
multi-millionaire already.
As you say, it's a disgrace when that money could go to a lot better causes.
Well, yeah, the Football Supporters Federation, they were obviously furious about it. They questioned how the payment could be signed off without notice when fans are repeatedly told, quote, there's not a surplus of cash lying around from the extremely lucrative TV deals. But now it appears, this is what they've said, now it appears that clubs can stick their hands down the back of the sofa and find $250,000 at a moment's notice. So the argument is, there's grassroots is struggling. You can't, I don't know. It's,
How they can go and agree on this payment to him without going to
And he's
the
saying-
20 clubs within the Premier League? is
not have a
beyond me.
vote, and not have a vote on it.
Not have a vote at all.
Not
did
have a
they?
vote on it. And he is staying on in a consultancy role as well. So he's still,
What?
Yeah, he's staying on in a consultancy role. Yeah, and there's also a contractual commitment that he can't take his expertise to a potential rival. So the answer, the question is, should I say, sorry, is should he be
But
rewarded?
there's no rival to the FA.
Well,
there isn't a rival.
I guess they mean maybe overseas.
But he cannot speak
Sport.
Spanish, he cannot speak French, he cannot speak German.
I don't
Where's
know.
he going to go? The United States? That's hardly going to rival. That's hardly going to be a competitor to the English Premier League.
Yeah,
It's nonsense.
Some have argued that Scudamore was lucky, that he was just in the right place at the right time, that football's billions have been made by exploiting people's love for their clubs and the game. And obviously pay TV rights and revenues were inflated more recently as BT Sports, with their emergence as a genuine rival to Sky. So I don't think there's any doubting that this guy has absolutely succeeded in delivering a top-notch league, which I personally think is one of the most overrated leagues in the world. But he's made it marketable, they've sold it, they've made an absolute fortune. These clubs have absolutely pocketed hundreds and hundreds of millions as a result of his work, no doubt. But why is he was paid a salary, 2.5 million a year. He's done it for 20 years. He's got enough money as the guy, and I just think it's a comp.
You think the Premier League's overrated, Dunk?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you?
Yes.
Don't you think it's one of the best one of the best leagues, if not the best league in the world?
I just think that it's really. I just think it's the way it's marketed. I just think it's overrated. It's not the.
What
It's
about
not
you, Scotty?
everything. There's some good,
Well,
some decent fixtures around the world. There, I'm telling you.
Everybody in all the media turns around and reckons that the Premier League is the best league in the world.
That's coming from English media. I would throw into the mix there. Most of the Spanish games that I watch on a regular basis are better than the English Premier League.
That's what I'm saying.
And
That's
also
what I'm saying.
the Bundesliga as well.
Serie A was
Serie A.
notoriously boring years ago, but I love a Serie A game. Honestly, I
I love
do.
a German game.
But the problem, in Germany, exactly, and they really look after their fans over there. You can go there for a tenner, you get your travel included around town and that on the public transport. But the Italian football, the problem is though at these games, if you look at the Italian leagues, especially empty stadiums.
Do you mean how it's run, or do you mean the competition as a whole of the games, the actual
I
games?
think once you start taking when you take some of the top 6 teams out of the Premier League, some of the games are absolutely horrendous. It's overhyped to
But that's
hell.
the same in all the divisions. That's the same as in Germany.
I don't think so. I think
Serie
no.
A,
I
La
disagree.
Liga.
I disagree, mate. I think if you watch some of them lower teams, he'll be able to comment on the Spanish side of things. But it can be a little bit more competitive, the smaller clubs and that against each other compared to our teams in the Premier League, the unattractive teams.
Well, listen,
that's
we're getting away from the
Hang
issue.
on, you're saying sorry, but when was the last time you watched a Bundesliga game? Exactly. Carry on, Scotty.
I watched it. I watched the highlights programme.
That's highlights though, but you sit there for 90 minutes watching 2 boring teams and see if.
No, we're getting away from the point, lads, and we've got 5 minutes to go. I want to
No,
bring
we're
you
not getting
back.
away from the point, really. We're on about that the Premiership, what he's built into, what we're saying is the best league in the world, but you're saying it isn't.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying, I
If you
agree with him.
If you
It's overhyped.
Overhyped is probably a better way of saying it. It's overhyped. We've got countdown clocks on Sky Sports now. You know, like three weeks and 30 minutes or whatever until Bournemouth versus Watford. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's mental.
When you're talking about Bournemouth playing Huddersfield, and Watford playing Wolves and that sort of thing, it's not exactly the glamour that they're painting out, are they?
What Steve's saying there is he's saying that the equivalent maybe in Italian football of 2 smaller clubs is the same thing, but I disagree. I actually think that those fixtures in Europe can be more entertaining than our less attractive teams, if that makes sense.
Well, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with both of you.
Well, no,
Well, that's what football's all about.
Listen. You've also got to look how many countries watch the English Premier League as well.
Well, yeah, that's to do with the
absolutely.
marketing, and this is to do with the way it's hyped and promoted and marketing. This is where he has succeeded, without a doubt. There's no doubt in that. There's no doubt in what he's achieved.
But I still think it's one of the best leagues.
Yeah, but nobody cares what you think, slaphead.
Listen,
that's not very nice.
What I want to go to, we've got 4 minutes before we get to the clock of 3. What I want to go to
We're not leaving
after
it, are we,
3 o'clock,
surely?
no, I want to go back into it more. Now, just to leave you on something interesting, and we'll go to
we'll be the
another
judge of
tune. This guy is about to, he hasn't took it yet, he's about to take 5 million out of the game.
Out of the game, there you go.
Right?
That's a
Out
better
of the
way of
game.
saying it.
Now, we're talking many moons ago, the FA Cup was the greatest competition in the world.
Yes.
Here's a little quiz question for the 2 of you. This guy's taken 5 million out of the game. How much do the FA Cup winners get for winning the FA Cup?
Well, I would have said. I would have said something not too far away from that. I would have said something not too far away.
Flying
from
pig?
that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue. It won't be a lot.
Certainly no more than 10, probably 8, 3.
I'm going to astound you. The FA Cup winners,
1.5.
they get 3.6 million.
Right.
This threepenny bithead has took 5 million out of the game.
Can you imagine what
the
that
wonder
5
why
million...
exactly, and the wonder why the FA Cup is devalued. You stick a £20 million pot to the winners of the FA Cup, and automatically, I guarantee, overnight, that people will want to win the FA Cup.
Exactly.
Can I just ask you one thing? Is it this guy's fault? Is it his fault?
Well, he's been at the helm for 20 years.
If it was you,
Yeah,
would you take the money?
I actually think.
If it was you, would you take the money? course you'd take the
No,
money.
not
you're
if I
offered
had,
it.
not if I was a multi-millionaire.
Well, no, because you've got more morals than
I'd be
him.
embarrassed.
But what I'm saying is, yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that, and
Or I
agree
would take
with
it
you
and then
there.
I would make my own donation of that sum to some sort of thing.
But-
I'd rather have my name on a sports centre.
But
Do
he
you know
hasn't.
what I mean?
But what I'm saying is, he hasn't asked for this. It's just been brought up by somebody else to give him it.
By his mate.
Yeah, his mate.
By his
exactly.
mate, who he goes golfing
Best
with.
pal.
So his mate, this Billy Butts or whatever his name is.
Billy Buck.
Billy Buck. He's more to blame than anybody, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But there's got to be someone that had dealings going
Bruce Buck.
on there.
Bruce,
I know
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
taking
Billy
the mickey,
Buck.
but he is
Now
the
listen, we're going to take a little bit of music. This is a hot topic. We're going
Yes,
to
I
come
want
back
to talk about this.
after the top of the hour. We're going to be looking at prize money for FA Cup and in particular women's football, and all relative on how much this guy has took out of the game in the last week.